Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today in DC Dark Legion, we're going to take a look at the updated team tier list. This is a full tagged team tier list, so you have to have 5 characters of the same tag. We put this out, I think it's about 2 months, and we've got some new characters now with Hawkgirl and Martian Manhunter. We've got Teen Titans that we've added to the list, so very excited to share with you my thoughts on how all of this falls into place. So let's get into it. All right, and welcome back. Before we jump into this, just when we take a look at these tag teams, I did say that I have a part 2 coming out. That is going to be your plug-and-play teams, your hybrid type teams. I have not had an opportunity to get to that yet. I've recently talked about it on stream. We actually agreed on a format that everybody kind of said would be good. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on that. That is actually a much larger project. There's so many different teams that you can build. So we're going to put together kind of a good list, and hopefully it is helpful for everybody. This team tier list here, very excited to share with you the results that we got during some of our testing. So we just recently did a stream where we're doing some testing, and then last week I was doing some testing because we've got some new team members and everything that we wanted to play around with. So let me go ahead. Let me just pull up the spreadsheet here. I don't have a graphic for you. Cope is unavailable currently, but hopefully when he gets back, he can go ahead and start putting some of these graphics together and updating them. Let's talk about training environments. I want to make clear the training environments, mainly combat cycle. We do some training simulator testing as well, but a lot of it is combat cycle. I think combat cycle is a very critical game mode. You get a lot of rewards through there. There's now a phase 1 and phase 2. So that's where a lot of the testing happens. But like I said, we do test in Training Simulator as well. Main observations, just so we take a look at kind of everything. We look at total damage. Obviously, with Combat Cycle, you want to get as far in the damage tree as you can. Damage tree, that's kind of a weird term. But you want to do as much as you can so you can get as far down the reward track as you can. Also, we take a look at individual damage from each individual character. Overall healing and survivability as well. Especially when you get to phase 2 of Combat Cycle. Survivability is key, because obviously the longer that you can stay in the battle, the more damage you're going to do and the more rewards you're going to get. So as you've probably been looking around, here's what we've got. Over here, you're going to see this is how I've slotted everybody as far as their rankings go. The damage that you see here is the average damage that they were pulling. So if we take a look at the S tier, we do have Justice League Dark. They continue to remain the king team in the game, and they are good in all game modes. I also added a best game mode section here. They're good in Combat Cycle, Training Simulator. They're good in Brawl. They are going to help you out across the board in this game. I highly recommend this game, this team. The thing, though, that I would suggest or just kind of keep aware of is a team is only going to be the top team for so long. Eventually, there's going to be a new team that comes out that's going to go ahead and knock them off the top of their ladder. I think the Outsiders team has the potential to rival the Justice League Dark team. Don't know if they'll knock them off the top, but I think there's some potential with that team, so we'll see what happens when that team comes out. But with Justice League Dark, massive damage really is Constantine. Constantine is the one that does most of the damage. Zatanna is going to help buff up Constantine's damage. Raven is a great healer. I think when we take a look at her, even when we take a look at her on the tier list, we may see her move a little bit, but she is a fantastic healer. She's got great survivability, and she's doing some decent damage as a healer as well. Obviously, Dr. Fate and Wonder Woman are our tanks, going to keep everybody away from our healers and our damage dealers so we can do as much damage as possible. You can see the effects that we have here. We've got a couple different tags. You've got the JLD tag, which gives you spiritual amplification. You've got the energy wielder tag that gives you increased HP. I did add an A+ tier because I felt that a separation needed to be made. So as you can see, JLT came in around 14 million damage in Combat Cycle. I added A+ because Arkham's Most Wanted is pretty close, 13 million. That does include Catwoman. I did some testing with and without Catwoman, and Catwoman's pulling in like 2-3 million damage. So definitely worth being on the team. But 13 million damage on the America's Most Wanted. Oh my gosh, the Arkham's Most Wanted team. I just felt, because when you take a look at the game modes, you've got JLD, who's great across the board. Arkham's Most Wanted, great team, but they do better in combat cycle because Joker, you've got the poison. The longer the battle is, the more damage he's going to rack up. I think that's really the best game mode for that team, and because it's limited, I felt we needed to separate them from the Justice League Dark team. So I did add an A+ tier, and I put Arkham's Most Wanted there. We've got some great characters. Two-Face with a spiritual damage debuff. You've got Scarecrow that helps improve the damage that Joker does, which is spiritual damage. You've got Ivy who does some nice healing and some nice damage here with Catwoman. We did see Justice League move up because if you take a look here, Justice League was down in the B tier here. And in the testing that we've been doing, I did move them up to A tier. I did change them up a little bit, though. So right here, they were pulling in around 10 million damage average. I think they're best in Training Simulator. With the change that I made with this team, the only tag that we have for them, we had two of them, but we now have the one. It's the attack and HP, 20% and 10%. Because what happened is I took Wonder Woman out, whereas before I had Batman in there. So I put Wonder Woman in there. I think that actually fits pretty well, too, because we're going to see Wonder Woman upgrade from a legendary to a mythic. So hopefully that scales pretty well. But she was just doing better on the team, especially in Phase 2. I think when I was doing this, I was in Phase 1 combat cycle. Now I'm in Phase 2. Wonder Woman gives me more survivability with her shields and things like that. So she was just better overall and allowed me to get more damage. All right, Legion of Doom, I think, remained at B. Yeah, Legion of Doom remains B. Best in Meta Brawl and Training Simulator. One thing I want to call out on Legion of Doom, I did swap out not Black Adam. Oh my gosh, Deathstroke. I swapped Deathstroke out for Croc because, again, in Phase 2, survivability is really key, and Croc is helping me there, whereas Deathstroke, he wasn't pulling in as much damage. Obviously, not a ton of survivability there. I've only got him at 5 white stars. And again, in combat cycle, I think this team is best in Meta Brawl and Training Simulator. Obviously, in Meta Brawl, you're going to want to make sure that you have Deathstroke in there. If you have Deathstroke, make sure he's on your team in Meta Brawl because he is fantastic in PvP. He is the counter to the JLD team. Similar to Nightwing. Nightwing is a nice counter to that team as well. So, you got Scarecrow. Sinestro is going to be your big damage dealer here. Black Adam does decent, but you've got Scarecrow and Croc who's going to keep your back team protected so you can do as much damage as you can. But definitely, Sinestro is going to help. He does spiritual damage, and that's where Scarecrow is going to help as well. Not only does he help Joker, he also helps with Sinestro spiritual damage also. Teen Titans, we do have... and then if we take a look at the damage they did, quite a bit of a gap between Justice League and Legion of Doom here. They dropped a couple million. 8.2 million is what they were pulling in during combat cycle. Teen Titans, so we've got that. They weren't on the list before. I put them in the C tier right now. We got Nightwing. Nice damage, great damage, good character. Requires some investment, though. Not as much as Deathstroke, but still requires investment. You got Red Robin, Raven. Raven, again, a great healer. And you've got Cyborg in there as well that's going to help boost the physical damage that the team does against the enemy. One thing I think when you take a look at these types of teams or any teams that you create, what you want to do is build up the least amount of characters to create the most amount of teams. And when you see some duplication like Cyborg across Teen Titans and Justice League, Raven across Teen Titans and Justice League Dark, whenever you can use one character in multiple teams, I think that's awesome. So they were pulling in 7 million though. Actually, Bat Family too. Bat Family Teen Titans were pulling in around 7 million. They're a little low. So I don't know. I don't think they're so good in training, not in Training Simulator, but Combat Cycle. I think they definitely shine more in Training Simulator, especially when there's more enemies on the field. So definitely good there. Same with Bat Family. I think similar with for them, Training Simulator is going to be their best. Back up just a minute on Teen Titans. They're also the only team in here that has 3 tags. We've got the Teen Titan tag that gives you crit damage increase, plus crit increase for Bat Family, and then attack increase with what? Weapon Master. Bat Family, only 2 tags again with crit and Weapon Master, so you got your crit and your attack there. Batman, Red Hood, Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl, that's all help. That's the best team that I could create on that, bringing in around 7 million damage. And then Birds of Prey, I put them in D. I don't really think they're a great team to put together. You got Catwoman, Vixen, a Harley, Batgirl. So the double support in that team actually helps do more damage. I skipped a couple characters. Let's talk about Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl over in Justice League did not help at all. I swapped Wonder Woman out for Hawkgirl. It didn't help. Her damage really isn't there. We've talked about Hawkgirl before. She doesn't have much damage. Her survivability is pretty decent. But Wonder Woman did much better. Even if I was to swap out Superman and Hawkgirl, Superman did much better. And both of them I have at 5 white stars. So she didn't really help my team at all. I don't think she's a character. I think she's going to be better in plug-and-play teams than these actual tagged teams. Let's also talk about Martian Manhunter. I think similar to him. He scales much better than Hawkgirl does as far as damage and survivability. I did do swapping out there as well, and it didn't really help too much. I think for him and Hawkgirl, I think are actually better in Training Simulator, and we'll see them shine a little bit better in plug-and-play teams rather than these full tagged teams. Also, similarly with Birds of Prey, putting in Hawkgirl here did not help at all. Didn't increase the damage, and not Harley, but Catwoman was doing quite a bit of damage. She was doing, like I was talking about, between 2 and 3 million damage pretty consistently with the team. So that is where we are. So you can see all the damage and everything that we pulled in, the ranks. We added the A+ tier. We talked about the new heroes. I'm excited to see Starfire come to the game because now we're going to get a Outsiders tagged team. Only 3 now. We're not going to have 5. But I think that's going to help when we start taking a look at some of the plug and play or the hybrid teams. So that's what I have for you, everybody. That is the update for the tagged team tier list. I am now going to start working on the format and everything for the hybrid, the plug and play type teams. I think that's going to be a lot of fun, so keep an eye out for that. Very curious on your thoughts. What do you think about this? Do you agree, disagree? Who's your favorite team? Who are you working on currently? And what about the game modes? Who's your favorite team, and what game mode do you like playing them in? All right, everybody. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.